Roosevelt Island. Welcome to New York City. Today is a day of firsts for many of us, and we're very excited. My name is Christina Delfico, and I am the founder of I Dig to Learn. Oh, wow, thank you. All right, well, I know we all dig to learn, so I am just so thrilled to be here on this very, very special historic day. And I just wanted to take a moment for everyone to just look around at each other. Not only are you seeing beautiful people, but if you also look further around, you're going to see this beautiful New York estuary, also called the East River, flowing by. And today is about life, value, and respect. And what I mean by that is that I Dig to Learn is all about pulling people outside, getting them to connect and see the life that surrounds us, I would say other than human life. And when you think of these waters near our shore, we have seen dolphin this year, we have seen seal, we have seen in the last 2 years a humpback whale come right up this river, and beneath it's teeming with fish. The bunker fish are flourishing, the waters are cleaner, the oyster program is helping to really clean the land, the water, which is helping bring the whales and the dolphins back. So life in the river, if we're quiet, we'll hear the sound of the birds in the sky. And that leads to today, which is about the land. And the land we are amending, restoring, rejuvenating, and connecting with. And we have spent this week preparing for the first ever Miyawaki method pocket forest. And we've been here with Ethan and Travis and Anthony all week long, preparing the soil. We have also not only valued life around us, but we have also valued and respected other sources of materials. So when you think of I Dig to Learn, we started with gardening, but you can just think of us as high nature, low waste. So we started getting closer to the outdoor life around us, but we realized that our human footprint can be quite detrimental. So we also work to be low waste. And that means reusing things right in front of us. So if you've noticed, you might notice the forest is full, spongy, rich, bouncy, and then where I'm standing today is more like, let's say, grass over concrete. Even though, there's not concrete beneath my feet, it has a harder feel because we've walked over it, it's compacted. So the reason we were able to value and respect materials around us is through great partners. Big Reuse has been working in New York City for years, taking our food scraps and transforming them into compost, just like nature does in the forest. And we were able to receive a donation of that compost from Big Reuse and put it into the ground. And that is valuing that the foods that you eat, the scraps from the food, the farmer that grew it, the truck driver that brought it to you, the cashier who sold it to you, all of that has value. And it takes water and energy, and we're valuing it by putting it back into the soil. In the same way, our neighbors, Greenwood Cemetery, they said, wouldn't you like some wood chips? And yes, we would, of course we would. They have a beautiful property where they prune the trees. Now we have added 60 cubic yards, which is just a lot of those wood chips back into the soil. So their trees will live again with our new trees. So back to the partners. We've got gardeners here. We've got different organizations. We called on our friends to get shovels and everything we needed to make this happen. And I just want to say, I Dig to Learn is very happy to be here, but we wouldn't be here without partners. So today, if you see this beautiful little sign in front of us, you'll see some partners. You'll see the Roosevelt Island Operating Corporation. We call them RIOC. They are managing the land here, and they are our partner, and we've worked with Mary and Gerald to make that happen, and others. And I'm going to give a special shout out to Matt Kibbe. I don't know where he is, but Matt Kibbe is the most amazing person who runs the grounds here. He's a horticulturist and an incredible man. Raise your hand, Matt. And he has really helped us create what we have here today. So I'd like to thank the RIOC team for partnering with us. And then also we have special guests from the Lenape Center here today. And we're thrilled Curtis is here with us. And we are very excited about that because we want to more deeply understand the plants that are going into the ground that were originally here, and that will speak to the birds and the butterflies. So we're very thrilled to partner with the Lenape Center. And we also have Marylee Jones here, who traveled in, and we're really happy that she's here. Also sharing knowledge, a traditional food forager. And we also, saving kind of the biggest for last, is our partner Sugi, S-U-G-I. I sometimes teach, so I had to spell that out for you. But Sugi's an incredible group. They are here as our partner. They fund this project, and they are funding many forests, pocket forests around the world using the Miyawaki method. And I am so happy to have their partnership. You will hear in a moment from their founder, and then a little bit later on from Ethan Bryson, the forest maker who's been working with Travis. So without further ado, I wanted to just give a big thank you to Trees New York and City Parks Foundation and others, including Bryn, Anthony Longo and his family, and the Roosevelt Island Garden Club. And just if I could have a call to action before I leave, I would say put your nature goggles on, walk your neighborhoods, look for little spots that need a little boost of life to serve the birds and the butterflies, and of course humans will be happy too. So that would be my one call to action. Walk the land, find these spots, and also my other call to action would be, as a city, as a state, value those like Big Reuse who are working hard to take our food scraps and create them into compost. They're in trouble now. They're going to be cut, and we don't want that. So please reach out to your electeds and say, we want to do more for us, but how can we if we don't have the materials? So without further ado, I want to introduce you to the founder of Sugi, who has come a long way, and this is her 200th. Elise, please take the mic.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you to Rio. Thank you to the Lenape Center. This is a dream come true, and it's because of you that we're here today, because of all of you. Thank you. So, it's hard to imagine with this iconic skyline behind us, but most of our greatest cities are built upon an ancient forest. And it's Sugi's mission to bring them back in partnership with communities. Now, Sugi is a global rewilding organization. We create ultra-dense, biodiverse pocket forests of native species. We've been doing that on 6 continents and 42 cities. Ethan, our brilliant Sugi forest maker, will tell you more about the Miyawaki method in a moment. But for now, I just want to say, the idea is to bring back what was once here. The beauty about these pocket forests is that they can be planted anywhere, at any time. They can be planted small and big. And you'll see it in a moment. You won't be just planting trees. You're actually creating a microbiome. And just, if you think about it, as Christina just did a call out for space, if you would plant these pocket forests in many places around the city, you'd call that urban acupuncture in a concrete jungle. And through that, you create pollinator pathways and biodiversity corridors. It's very simple. So the environmental impact of these pocket forests is big. But what really is amazing as well is the social and inspirational impact. They are planted with and for the people. And now, you New Yorkers, you understand that. Density and diversity, makes you resilient, makes you collaborate, makes you creative, and it's just fun, So today, when we plant, we not only transform the land, but we also transform community. And Marylee, you'll be speaking shortly. Your daughter Joelle and your mother, thank you for being here. You've been really incredibly instrumental with that building of community throughout our forest. So thank you. But today is also a very big day, because not only is it the first Miyawaki pocket forest in one of the greatest cities of the world, yes, we love New York, but it's also a milestone planting for Sugi. It's our project number 200. And I want to say also a very important thing today, remember, just have fun. That is the idea of this forest. Have fun, and it's the joy and the love that makes them grow even faster. And who can say they planted a tree in New York City? I would like to introduce to you the next speaker. He's a co-founder and co-director from the Lenape Center of the Lenape people, Mr. Zunigha. Thank you for being here with us. It means a lot.
This is a very special moment, and I have a very special perspective on this moment. So what else do we do in circumstances like this? Kulamasia Mahash Namohamo. And Kata Kekalue, Kehalawanishi, Talachi Kaski Hupin, and Yakwayanda Loku. Nululunda Mohana, Elipaek Manahata, Ok Lenape Hoking, Ok Tekaning Atta. Bring you greetings this morning on behalf of my fellow directors at the Lenape Center. My name is Curtis Zunigha. I'm an enrolled member of the Delaware Tribe of Indians in Oklahoma. We are the modern day descendants of the original indigenous people of this place that we call New York City, the island of Manhattan, which is the place that we said the place where they come to gather wood to make bows. Manhattan is just part of our homeland known as Lenape Hoking, which really stretches in an area from the foothills of the Catskills Mountains all the way down the Hudson River, all the way down to Philadelphia and to the Delaware Bay. That was our original homeland. And I mentioned that name, Tekkaninkatam. That was a name that our executive director, Joe Baker, came up with to name this special place. In our Lenape language, Tekkaninkatam means let's go into the forest. And I look over here and I see this sign saying it's a healing forest. Lenape Center supports projects like this that restore and regenerate the ecosystem of our homeland. It provides healing and wellness from a historical and a generational trauma that has existed on the Lenape people who were forcibly removed from this homeland beginning about 400 years ago, nearly 5. That forced removal caused great trauma, physically, mentally, culturally, because the worldview of the Lenape people, this is a living, breathing, spiritual place. We are related to the land. It's not a commodity. To us, we couldn't figure out and understand the so-called myth of the purchase of Manhattan by the Dutch, because we could not understand the concept of our Earth Mother being considered property to be sold, and then have that so-called transaction enforced by military and having us displaced from our homeland. It's a feeling like an orphan or a child being torn from the arms of its mother. To stand here on this place today, so many years later, to join in this effort with these organizations to restore and regenerate the earth, Haki, this land, brings healing and wellness to our relative. The waters, which we referred to in a female orientation. All of these relatives, all of creation around us is a living, breathing, spiritual entity, as we are as humans, and therefore we gather here today in a healing place to achieve healing and wellness from what's been done in the past, and let it inspire us through the planting of these trees and the care of this land to reverse the process of many generations that have threatened the existence and the wellness of this land and our collective spirit. So again, on behalf of Lenape Center, we are privileged to be here as a part of this opening event. And I'm going to go over here a little later with Ethan. And when we put down that first tree in the ground, I'm going to take some tobacco, tobacco, which I'll put in the ground as a spiritual offering, and a little bit of water. And in that way, we consecrate the ground and bringing goodwill and good spirit to the establishment of this healing forest, and that we may, as collective residents, visitors, those of us here and those of us that will follow, we will achieve healing and wellness, and we will support and bring healing and wellness to this, our Earth Mother. So I'll say, thank you. So that'll happen here in just a minute, but I'll close it out by just offering a little honor song on behalf of this effort and on behalf of this land. Yahweh, oh Yahweh, oh Yahweh, 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 oh Yahweh, Lenape, Yahweh, 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 thank you.
Thank you so much, Curtis. That was so beautiful, and it's wonderful to have the Lenape name, and we look forward to putting in that first plant. And it just also reminds me of those who have helped make this happen. Thank you so much. I'd like to now introduce Marylee Jones, who's come a long way, and we are so happy to meet her and learn from her. And thank you, Sugi, for introducing us to these amazing people.
Shekmaitki, Inknash Maniksha Smunitee, Ichi Iwa Shakwi, in me Timna Iwa Kothaninam, in me Kut Iwa, Timna Kut, Timna Kothaninam. Good morning. My name is Smunitee. My English name is Marylee Jones, and first of all, I have to give everybody hats off to live in this huge area that is just so bustling with such a pulse. I couldn't find my directionals in getting grounded, and so in one way it made me think of how I have to address myself. I'm enrolled Yakama, and I am from the Yakama Reservation. And I say that a little bit heartbroken, because I am proud from where I came from, but just like the speaker before me, we do not own the land. The land is accepting of us. So where am I from? I am from wherever the Creator allows us to have our salmon, our deer, our roots, and our berries. And in that gathering is how I live my life, to understand that it's reciprocal. And so coming here, I think about this. Just a quick story. Before I got here, I was at a plant gathering that I was teaching at. And this lady was talking to us one breakfast morning, and she was saying, so you're going to New York? I lived in New York. And I was like, oh no, don't ask me questions about New York, because I only know things about like Sex and the City and Friends and just what I see on TV. And so she said, I just want to share something with you. Do you know where you're going? And so I said, well, I know we're planning in a place called Roosevelt Island. And her heart stopped, her face got just white, and her eyes were big. And I felt like I had said something wrong. And she said, that's where my grandfather was placed. My grandfather was put in this type of like a facility, an institution. And he had a lot of alcohol. And this lady, I was shocked, because in our culture, we're the minority amongst minorities. Nobody ever understands, hears our knows what we think, because we're like almost 1%, less than 1% across the nation. And so in talking with her, she was saying her lineage and how her grandfather got here and how he had a tough time. And in coping, there was a lot of alcohol. And in doing that, there was also a lot of misguided areas of abuse and neglect. And that doesn't get spoke about enough. And so in talking with her, she asked my daughter if she would bring some names and some medicine to plant, because this land, we could say it's really, really hurt, or we could say this is a real healing land. And in turning over and thinking about this, I really want to say a big thank you to the Lenape, to all of the tribal programs that, and I say programs, but tribal people that had that connection. I can only imagine what that was like. This spot is so covered with water. That relationship, whether it be with the shells and the fish, the trading capacity, and coming over and getting bum rushed about, okay, I need this, I'm hungry, I need this, I need this. And the people of the area saying, okay, let's slow down. We have to find the rhythm. This is the time we gather this. This is how we do this. And people were so scared. We went to Boston 2 years ago, and during that time we sat in a WeToo. And the tribal community that we was working with there, they were apprehensive, because time did not tick and go forward. Time stood still. The land that they had was 300 acres divided by 2 spaces. From everything they had was deduced to that amount and practice who they are. That's like me coming over saying, out of all of you guys, I'm going to take everybody's home except for 3. And I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to take your children. I'm going to do well my way. And it hurts. It hurts because this is all in our bloodline somewhere. And in that WeToo that we sat in, that was an ancient structure, he talked to us, and just like Curtis did, he sang his song. We are still here. Creator, we are still here. We practice, and I want to share this with you. We brought some things to share with people, and I really want to give these out, but I'll wait until we can get further down. But I brought some of the deer meat that my brother made, and passed out. I have some roots that I want to share, especially with Curtis. The roots that my family gathered from my land, where we have, how much acreage do we have? 1.3 million acres. We have 1.3 million acres. We had a lot more, but again, it got deduced down. So we can freely practice on that land. And then trying to be who we are is defined by the food that we eat, defined by the way that we live and the way that we gather. And so I think about all of these things, and we'll plant in honor of Susan and her family, and thank this land for taking care of her grandfather. But I want to challenge you to make sure that I'm going to give you something that keeps me safe. And this is only something that you can hold in your heart, so you have to turn off everything recording. You can keep recording while I teach in this part, but I want you to remember this. So all together in one time, if I was your elder, if I was your grandmother, I would be saying, everybody say this after me. Say it from your heart. Say it from your stomach, your mind, your soul, from your ancestors. Auna.
Auna.
Iwanisha.
Iwanisha.
Auna.
Auna.
Iwanisha.
Iwanisha.
The second verse out of this whole thing is teach 'em. Iwanisha.
Iwanisha.
Teach 'em.
Teach 'em.
Iwanisha.
Iwanisha.
And this is a simple song that I want to share in sacredness of the Lenape, from sealing the east to the west for our healing Mother Earth. I want to share this especially to Elise for all of the work in the 200th, and for Ethan for creating these kind of environments that open up our heart and our vulnerability. And most of all, I want to share this with each and every one of you in that inner child, to let you know that you are loved. The same beings that create those beautiful cherry blossoms is the same creator that made each and every one of you. And so when we plant today, whether you name that tree after that inner child, or after somebody that's passed on, or some wish that you hope for, that is your mark to the Creator for today. And the song, Auna, it means let's go. Iwanisha, they're calling. Teach 'em, the earth. Iwanisha, it's calling. And so I'll ask everybody to stop recording for a little bit, and I'll sing the first one with my mother and my daughter and Ethan, because Ethan knows this as well. And then the second verse you'll sing with me, and the third verse, but jump in. There's no way to do it wrong. You just sing with your heart and your soul and your spirit. And I would ask